lick every stamp, and steal every inch until all of those roots are ours.
Admittedly, I've always found Guy Ritchie to be a rather hit-or-miss filmmaker. Sometimes his stylish ways don't exactly make for an intriguing movie, but at least they always look nice. And I certainly appreciate how he goes the more practical route with his action. His latest, In the Gray, has less action than you would probably expect, but when it hits, it's very satisfying. But is it enough to result in an entertaining film? In the Gray follows a covert group as they're sent to steal back a billion-dollar fortune from a rich dude who killed the last group that tried to take back the money. It's a pretty basic setup with a clear goal, and that's where the best of action movies excel. If anything, I was surprised at how much the film looks at the more legal side of getting the money back. Now, that doesn't mean this is a courtroom drama or anything, and the legal language is all very Hollywoodized, but it's cool to see this story told with more brain than brawn. Everyone is using tactics to accomplish their goals versus just going in guns blazing. Henry Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Isaac Gonzalez make up our leads, and they all have a fun enough dynamic. It's clear that Bronco and Sid will do anything for Rachel, but they avoid going the romantic route, which was a nice change of pace. Though there is a very funny homoeroticism at play, which I'm sure fandoms will be frothing at the mouth for. I really got a kick out of Cavill and Gyllenhaal's interactions, as they can bounce off of each other in a fun and organic way. If anything, I was surprised with how little of it that we actually got. I suppose that's because the movie is always moving forward and we don't get many moments to just sit with the characters. But it would have been nice if anyone outside of those three characters were given a bit more dimension. Guess that's just kind of expected. It just takes a bit away from some of the deaths, which just kind of happen, and it's really honestly hard to care about. The biggest problem that I had with the film is that the main bad guy, Salazar, played by Carlos Bardem, yes, the brother of Javier, feels very underdeveloped. It could have worked with a bigger actor, but Bardem doesn't ever stand out. He's not even intimidating at any point, which can take away from some of the stakes. He nor his henchmen ever seem to pose a serious threat to our main cast. Even when he's able to pull one over on them, it's easily rectified and our heroes never feel out of their depth. It doesn't help that his second in command, played by Game of Thrones' Christopher Hivju, gets an intriguing introduction, but then is just standing around for most of the runtime. With how competent Bronco and Sid proved to be, it would have been nice to have some villains that actually feel formidable. Written and directed by Guy Ritchie, I was happy to see In the Gray at a tight 98 minutes, as I've always felt that he has a pacing problem. Thankfully, this moves along fairly quickly, though there is a lot of talking about plans going on. Thankfully, that dialogue is mostly interesting and delivered in an energetic way. There are times that it felt like an Ocean's movie with how the information was conveyed. It can be a bit hokey with how much the courts are used to stop this billionaire, especially in the current political climate, but I get what Ritchie was going for. I'm sure some will be annoyed at the lack of action, but this is really more of a heist movie. Only instead of stealing the money, they're making a deal and then having to execute the extraction. As such, we get plenty of montages of the planning, which are all intriguing. I quite enjoyed how much we got to see of these guys looking at problems from all angles, and they end up executing their plan in a way that I wasn't quite expecting. But again, if you're expecting an action bonanza, then you're sure to be disappointed. Thankfully, when the action does happen, it's grounded, with all of it being very practical and precise. It can just feel a bit video gamey with how easily dispatched all the goons are. Thankfully, that still keeps the entertainment value up. I enjoyed my time with In the Gray, but it's not going to be for everybody. It's still got that trademark Guy Ritchie pacing issue, and despite being marketed as an action film, really doesn't get into that until the final act. It was still a satisfying watch, as all the pieces come together in a fun way. It can just feel a little surface level, and it really just kind of ends. The lack of stakes take away from what would have otherwise been one of Ritchie's best. Thankfully, Gyllenhaal and Cavill are having a blast, which definitely comes across on screen. Which is why I'm giving In the Gray a 7 out of 10.
They operate in the gray.
Show me what you got. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.